Hey guys, Casey here, post recording. This week we decided to try and record the podcast just a little bit differently, and it didn't really go as planned. The setting we had on the mic, the way the mic was turned, it put our audio, my audio in the left speaker and Isaac's in the right. And I tried doing some tweaking in like Audacity and in Premiere, trying to get it, to be equal, but it just didn't work. And so I had to export it as a mono track instead of stereo, and so the audio sounds just a little bit clunky this week, so sorry about that. We do plan on getting new equipment soon though, so hopefully all of our audio troubles will soon fade away from existence. But since this is an audio based project, it happens, so sorry about that, but enjoy the episode.
Hey, I'm Isaac.
And I'm Casey.
And this week, I'm gonna be drinking the drink that makes you old. So let's get into it. Let's have a sip, shall we?
Yeah.
Casey, I'm gonna start.
Go ahead.
Oh man, that is some good old juice right there.
Old juice. Let me take a sip of mine.
Yeah. Let's see.
Exquisite.
Hey, what do you think about TikTok?
That's just China.
I just don't get it.
They're
They're stealing our data.
Yeah, our information.
Let me take another bit of my old juice really quick.
Communists. Yeah, here, I'm gonna take another sip.
You know, I miss the days of digital media. Nowadays, it's all this fucking I have a computer in my brain.
Yeah. You got their stupid fucking chips.
They don't know what we had to do.
Exactly.
We had to log into Netflix.
Exactly.
We had to remember our passwords.
There used to be fucking passwords. Like, people don't realize that.
Okay.
Now you can just fucking blink or say something.
This old juice just tastes so fucking good. I want it to spin forever.
Bro,
Let me have another.
Yeah. I downed all my old juice. Welcome back to Mind Over Movies.
I gotta stop going to that beach that sells all that fucking old juice.
Right?
What, Casey? I mean, speaking of being old, you're 1 week older than the last time we recorded this show.
Yeah.
Did you gain any insights on life in that amount of time?
Absolutely not.
Oh well, did you watch any fucking movies then?
No.
Really?
I don't think I did. No.
You're stagnant.
I'm thinking hard.
You're really.
No, I can give an update on a film topic though.
Film topic.
My films.
Oh shit! Yeah, give us the deets, baby.
So I'm about to release Crypsis on YouTube for everybody to watch.
Crypsis is coming up.
Crypsis. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. I didn't get into the festival that I submitted into. That's what I was waiting for, basically. And so yeah, I'm just gonna throw it on YouTube, and I also am doing like a commentary. Like I did like a director's commentary for it, just to talk about it because I wanted to. And that's going on YouTube as well. It'll probably go on the same day as this podcast. So if you're hearing this, you can check our YouTube channel again for my film Crypsis. And also, I have a semi picture lock for Crimes, and it has been sent to my composer to score the music. So that shouldn't take very long.
Man.
So hopefully just a couple more weeks, and Crimes of Good Intentions will be out on YouTube as well.
We're a year out, but Crimes will be out.
We're exactly a year out. Like,
yeah,
we filmed this last year.
I got Snapchat memories of us filming it recently. Yep. But damn, dude, that's exciting. And I mean, hey, if you like Casey's voice, like, I'm sure it's very insightful because he made the movie. So I'm sure that his commentary is it's thought provoking at the very least.
Your life, yeah.
Is it?
No.
Is it gonna change your life's view on Christmas, the film?
Probably.
Oh, hey, there we go.
I actually want to do a commentary for Crimes as well, but with the cast and stuff. I just don't know how it's gonna work yet, but yeah, I want to do it with like our main cast members.
That'd be
sexy.
At
At least a couple of them, if not everybody can get in on it. But yeah, because I kind of want to. Yeah, I just want to do a whole thing about it. Just talk about its production history because it's
cursed,
it's
man.
Cursed. It's very fucking cursed. So
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. That's. What about you? Did you life experience change? Did you gain any insights?
I learned to be more present.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
By watching fucking movies.
Let's go.
What? Let me right out the bat hitting you with that Fear Street Part 2, 1978.
Let's go.
I liked the first one. It was good. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I would not say that I dislike Fear Street Part 2. It just is what I feared that this franchise might be, which is like a bit obnoxious and on the nose with its gimmick. Like this ties into the first film in like a bunch of very silly ways. Like, you know, characters will come up to each other and be like, hey, I can't wait for the day that you're my boss, buddy. And, like, of course, because you've seen the first movie, you know, like, where that's going. Oh, damn.
We have thunder.
There we have
live on the podcast.
Kind of an intense thunder going on right now. God is not happy about my Fear Street Part 2 review. He thinks it's actually superior to the first. Yeah, just like a lot of like obnoxious, like, oh, look at what we did. Like, we released one movie first that was chronologically ahead of this one, but now we're going back and we're winking and nodding at ourselves. And they also kind of think that they are defying horror expectations in the most unique way. I'm not going to get into spoilers, but like, you know, from the first movie that a character with a certain name will be alive. And they kind of toy with that a little bit, like what you think, you know, that means. And I saw it coming from a mile away. Like, you know at the end. I mean, like, if you've seen a fucking movie, I feel like you know that they aren't going to let it be that easy. Like, they're going to play with it. And they do, and it's so predictable. Also, I kind of thought the first movie had, like, a bunch of licensed songs for no reason. This one, like, within the first 10 minutes, had played more than the entire first three. Carry On, My Wayward Son is in this movie fucking twice. And both times, it has no point to be in it other than...
disappointing.
It is. Oh my God.
They're scared of thunderstorms.
God is coming to the door to let us in. But it's fun. Like, I can't be mad about it. Like, it's a fun, like, kind of Friday the 13th style movie. The first one, I don't know what they were going for. More like a Scream, like, homage in some parts. Mm-hmm. And I like that style more. But this was definitely going for a different vibe. I didn't care for it as much. Right. And it seems like the filler chapter of the trilogy. Like, they set up some stuff for part 3 that seems like it might actually continue the plot you want to see. Yeah. And it just seems like part 2 is there for, like, a shit ton of exposition and for, like, one thing to happen that goes into part 3. And it's like, okay, well, I guess we needed this to be a trilogy and not 2 parts, but we didn't really.
Yeah. That sucks, though, that...
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember last week on the podcast, I was like, I hope the quality stays up, you know? Like, I hope it's good. I hope it's good throughout. Other than that, I mean, the only other thing I watched this week, I watched today, it was When Harry Met Sally. Have you ever seen that?
Little bits and pieces. I've never watched it.
Fucking amazing, actually.
Like, I need to really sit down and watch that movie, actually.
Dude, I mean, Rob Reiner, you always know you're in a good time when he directs something, and, I mean... This blew me away. Like, I don't know. This is just like one of the best relationship type movies I've ever seen, and especially like the way it examines like male and female relationships. I mean, even though it was made in 1989, which usually means like it's going to be dated as fuck. Right. Like, they treat both of the characters with like such respect, and I mean, I was especially surprised that it wasn't sexist as fuck. You know? Yeah. But it isn't. Like it kind of made me even tear up a little, which I never do. Like, it was really something. I can't recommend it enough. Like, if you've never seen it, like, it's a classic for a reason, and I found that out today. Like, holy shit.
That's awesome. I need to watch it. It's been recommended to me a lot, actually. It gets talked about a lot in the scope of, like, relationship films, like romance movies and stuff.
I mean, Billy Crystal's, like, second most important movie right there.
Probably first being Monsters, Inc.
Of course. I was setting you up for that, man. I was setting you up.
That's a good segue, though, if you don't have any more anything else to mention.
Well, you want to talk some Richard and Mortimer real quick?
Oh, yes. You watched the newest episode?
Yeah, the newest one, which everyone will be like, it's not the newest one. You guys are a week behind. The Hellraiser one. And again, spoilers for Rick and Morty. We just fucking talk about these episodes. I mean, you can skip these portions. We're just fans, man.
We're fans.
We may be cringe, but we're fans.
I stated last week that I actually liked this episode. What'd you think about it?
I really liked it.
You liked it? Okay.
I think I found myself liking the B plot a little bit more than like the main storyline, like the parts with the ship. Oh, really? And all of the running around in a chutback or whatever. Yeah. Those were good.
I feel the opposite. I think I like the Jerry storyline more with the Hellraisers. The B plot was still good. I was more interested though in the Hellraiser plot though.
It was good. Like, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. I especially liked Beth and coming out there and having a good time with them. Yeah. I think it's like by the time they go to hell, and they keep doing the same joke over and over again about how the logic of the Hellraiser group doesn't. Yeah. Like, it's funny for a little bit, but they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and I'm like, okay, sheesh. And also, still super horny, the Rick and Morty writers. Yeah. Like, couldn't help but notice since episode 3. We have been horny. Like, there's, like, always some shit in the plot line. And I'm like, okay, sexuality in television, like, doesn't make me uncomfortable. Right. I'm just wondering, like, what's different this season? Are they just trying to do a bunch of shit that gets censored so it's funny? Like, my friend, I watch it on YouTube, so nothing's censored. But my friend was telling me he really loved the storyline in episode 3 because it's, like, blurred out, like, a lot of it. Like, when Rick and Summer are driving to, like, the planet and they're talking about, gobbling the bottom, if you will. Right. He said, like, they didn't even show, like, the hand gestures. It's, like, completely blurred out, and it's just a beep, a beep, a beep, a beep, like, the whole time. And that sounds kind of funnier to me than the actual thing. I mean,
there is, like, humor in that. Although, I will say they did, like, there's, like, some things where, like, even on, like, the discs, like, I bought the seasons, like, physically, and they will even blur some stuff out on those. Like, also, they won't bleep out anything. But even, like, in episode 3, when she shows, like the boobs from her elbow, like, that was blurred out on YouTube.
I remember.
I was like, why is that blurred out, but, like, everything else isn't? I guess there's, like, some, like, rules and regulations with, like, TV shows, or it's, like, at what point does this become porn, I guess?
Yeah.
So.
True. Might have been an artistic choice.
Yeah.
Not to show the elbow boobs. But all that to say, it feels like we're back on track. Yeah. Like, after that episode 4, I was really fucking scared for a second.
Did you know that episode 7... So we're recording this Sunday. So by the time the episode comes out, we will have seen the newest episode. It comes out tonight. So tonight's episode 6, right?
Yeah.
So last week, episode 7, the full episode got leaked.
Really?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I saw it, and I didn't think it was real. And so I skimmed through it, and that shit's real. Like, it's clips from the trailers and promos we've seen. It's the full fucking episode, 22 minutes. And I was like, how in the hell did episode 7 get leaked before episode 6? But I noticed one thing, and this is a spoiler for if you haven't watched the episode 4 that we talked about that was really bad. So if you haven't seen that, skip ahead to this time code.
15 minutes and 5 seconds.
Okay, so at the end of episode 4, we know they make an incest baby, right?
Right.
Okay, when I was skimming through the episode, the incest baby is in episode 7.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like I saw it like floating in space, and that's when I decided to like I don't want to watch this episode because what if there's some context in episode 6? So I need to watch episode 6 first. So, but yeah, it's there. It's definitely there. It's like a storyline, I guess, that they're going with.
Are they serializing like the worst elements of the show to like piss off fans, or like
I don't know. Like I'm interested. Like I think if I watch episode 6 tonight, I might go on YouTube and watch the bootleg episode 7 version. I'll send you the link if I can find it. But yeah, they're going for it, I guess. I don't know. Episode 7 seems fun though because it's the Voltron riff where they all like get in the robot suits. And combine. It's that episode.
Oh, okay.
That's how I knew it was real because I was watching the whole thing. I was like, oh damn, this is okay. They actually leaked episode 7, so. It's kind of wild, but yeah.
I think the funniest bit of the intro this year is definitely like Morty like putting the golf ball in. Like I might have already said this, but like that shit is so funny to me. It's like nothing's going on. Oh, have you? Okay, so we got to keep this in Rick and Morty section. Have you heard the fan theory about this season that has to do with evil Morty?
Yes, that we're watching Morty become evil Morty?
Yeah, like this is an origin story, and that's why like people's like nitpicks about the characterization and like canon is like happening because it's actually like a genius little plot twist, and they're gonna bring it around. And honestly, part of me is like, that sounds dope.
Yeah.
I hope that's it. But I also don't think that Dan Harmon or Justin Roiland are even like anywhere interested in doing a concept like that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that just sounds too like, you know, other TV shows.
Yeah.
Like, you know, shows that care about like having like an overarching plot. And in season 4, they proved like they don't fucking care. Like the Story Train episode literally took what most fans would want as like a series finale and just like ruined it, you know?
Exactly. I mean,
Veggie Tales.
That's so funny though. They're like, it's Jesus. He's gonna come and save us. It's like that's the worst storytelling element ever. But what confuses me about it makes me happy, but it also frustrates me at the same time. How Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland are so, like, the point of Rick and Morty is it started out as, like, a counterculture thing. Mm-hmm. And now that it's a part of the culture, it's still trying to counter the culture that it's a part of. So, like, at the same time, they want to do serialized stuff. Like, you can tell the evil Morty stuff that we've seen in past episodes were, like, some of the best episodes. It's, like, good storytelling. But then they're also, like, fuck you, we don't care about that with the story episode. Like, and, like, even in the season 4 finale, when they killed Tammy, I recently rewatched that episode the other day, and Rick was like, she died like she lived, something like, he said she died as she lived, over-serialized and boring or something like that.
Yeah.
And the whole episode, Rick's just like, boy, he's like, oh, we have to go to a fucking Star Wars, we have to do this storyline. But then you look over at something like Solar Opposites where I think Dan Harmon is involved in Solar Opposites.
No, he's not.
He's not? Okay, well, Justin Roiland
and Mike McCann.
Yeah, it's so Rick and Morty, and its wall plot line is super serialized. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, do you like doing serialized stuff? Like, are you okay with it? Or it's like, are you just committed to Rick and Morty being just like, you know, a bunch of one-off episodes with random-ass storylines here and there. Because, like, they build stuff up all the time. Like, the fucking Vat of Acid episode ends with his, like, Morty's, like, girlfriend seeing him, and then she runs away, and we're supposed to think, like, oh, she might come back in a later episode. Because,
I didn't think that. I thought, like, oh, she runs away because she thinks he's dead, you know? Like, yeah, because, I mean, he gets in the Vat of Acid, and she runs away. Like, it's like, oh, they'll never happen now.
Yeah. Well,
and, like, it almost happened. It was, like, a tease.
Yeah, to me, it feels like she could come back, and they've done that with other stuff in the show, and they brought it back, but I don't know. Like, the evil Morty theory would be super cool.
Yeah.
I agree. But I don't know what they're fucking doing. Like, they teased that this season would be a lot darker, and that they would like follow up on some plot lines. I think I read that somewhere. Maybe that's in the latter half of the season. I haven't seen them follow up on anything yet. Even though I've been enjoying the season, save for one episode. I don't know. It's weird. I'm excited to see it though.
I like their little one-offs, like that's what brought me to the show in the first place, is like season 1 was just like really solid one-offs. Mm-hmm. But what's always really done it for this show with me is like shit will just like happen in an episode and it like changes everything. Like that, I remember being blown away by the fact that like they fuck up their whole, like they fucked the Earth up in like the 4th episode of the show, and they have to change universes.
Yeah, like Potion number 9. That was the episode. Yeah, and then they kill themselves, and they have to bury them.
And they've been living in like the fake one. And also, I wonder, like it's silly, and this also sounds very like Matt Patty to say, but like, is the squirrel plotline like also like real? Like, did they have to leave? Like, I wonder, do we have like a whole family of corpses in the backyard now because of that? Like,
right.
Shit. That was such a good moment though, whenever like Morty's like, Summer, I'm out there. Like, what season is that in? Like the part where he shows her like their graves.
That's like at the end of season 1 or like towards the beginning of season 2, I think.
That was such a good part of like, it feels like we've kind of moved away from like moments like that and storylines like that, and like that's the thing is in season 2, before it had like a huge following, like I don't think Rick and Morty blew up until season 2, but like that's when they were still doing like a lot of serious storylines, and then it was season 3 that they did away with that pretty quickly. I mean, in episode 1 they did a big satisfying conclusion, and then they were like, we're not interested. I mean, they did the one Evil Morty episode, and that was it, they were like, fuck it. And then season 4 was like begrudgingly like, here's a finale that ties into some shit that you've been waiting to see,
right?
With like Phoenix person. It was great.
Yeah,
it's always so good when it revisits it. I don't know, like I would be less mad if you guys weren't so good at making serialized stories like that.
Exactly. Like if the serialized plots were like not interesting whatsoever, I'd be like, yeah, fine, let's just do a bunch of one-offs. But they have like created like characters that I want to see again and storylines that I want to know like what's gonna fucking happen, and they are basically spitting in our faces like, fuck you, we're not gonna do that. And I'm like, but why? Like, it's so good.
I get it. I mean, their fans are really fucking annoying.
I know.
If you had like cringe buckets,
I'm fully convinced the fans ruin half the things for us. Well, that's it with anything, but especially Rick and Morty fans, dude. They're just fucking awful.
They really are, man. They really are.
What about them Pixar fans, though?
Oh, fuck them even more.
Fuck them even more.
Fuck Pixar fans. Let's just end the show. I'm fucking feeling upset. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Do you kind of want to talk about Pixar movies though?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, since we're Rick and Morty fans and Pixar fans, and we hate ourselves, we might as well just live it.
We just like animation.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, bitches. It's Pixar tier list time. We know you people like when we rank shit. I looked at the analytics. The Marvel top 3 worst 3 is one of our better episodes that we get listened to. No, we've actually been wanting to do a Pixar rank for a while.
Yeah,
now. It was talked about several weeks ago, I think, and we just haven't got around to it. But we thought, this week's good.
We're doing it. We're doing it. I'm pulling up my list right now. Casey, you've got your shit on lock, man?
It's all in my head here.
Okay. Whoa, all in his head.
I did like a mock run through a while ago. So.
He does stage runs for this podcast. He practices. He makes sure he has his shit and ready. So we have a tier list.
We can start with here if you want, and just go, or if you want to go in like an order, we can go in like order of release.
Oh, that's smart. I was thinking like we would go tier by tier and put everything into each one, and then it was like a dramatic reveal. But I like that.
Okay.
Better what you said.
Gotcha.
So let's start, shall we? With so by the way, here's our tiers. We have S/God tier.
It's the best
we have
tier.
A tier. We have B tier. We have C tier, and then we have garbage. And then there's a little category for the little casuals, haven't watched.
Haven't
There's a couple
watched.
I haven't watched.
Yeah, there's only one I haven't watched.
Okay.
But we'll get to that.
Gotcha. Well, Casey, let's start with Up. What tier are you putting that in?
I'm gonna put Up. We're gonna start off strong here. You might disagree. I don't know. Very fond memories of this movie. I think it's God tier. I would put Up in the God tier category.
I think
I revisit it often, actually.
I love Up. I think that I'm gonna have to put it in A tier for me.
It's still good.
Yeah, like it used to be my favorite, but it's something I've realized about the film on subsequent watches is like, yeah, obviously, best 10-minute opening of a movie ever, like completely iconic.
Obviously.
And there's some really strong like emotional stuff throughout, and I'm not saying that the storyline of the actual plot is bad, but like all of the stuff concerning like Christopher Plummer's character, the adventurer, and like the dogs. I mean, it's fun and I love it still. It's just it's not as good as those opening moments and those emotional moments throughout. It's still a great film, like don't get me wrong, but I think Pixar has done a balancing act in other movies a lot better than they did in Up, and I think that we get like this bias when we look at Up because of those 10 minutes that start the film. So
I agree. I mean, I think for me the reason why I put it so high is because I think it gets like the adventure film and the aesthetic of that, and also all the emotional parts. I think it gets it 100% like right. And the Charles, what's his name? The adventurer is something Charles.
I don't even remember right now.
Him with like all the dogs, I think is just really unique and just like fun. And just like the whole world building, right? The world they've created. I just love going back and revisiting that world so many times, which is why I love it. I like all the plot lines. I do agree though with you that like the balancing act between it has been done better in other films. I just think it's so special.
It is special.
It's a good like adventure film. You know, we don't get many good adventure films. Like Disney tries to put one out every now and again. Their newest one's like the Jungle Cruise movie. Right?
Yeah, I don't know how that'll turn out.
I don't either. But I think Up is one of the more solid adventure movies, and that's why I love it, because I love adventure movies as well.
Yeah, adventure is so fun.
Yeah,
I do love Up. Like, don't get me wrong. It's A, but that means I love it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm looking at this next one.
Yeah.
It's Toy Story.
Toy Story.
I'll go first. I think Toy Story is S, God tier, for sure. The first one?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I was middling between S and A, just because I think I was going to only put it in A just because I've seen it so many times. But if you really think about just the content of it, just like it itself, no, it's God tier.
It's
definitely
solid. It's
so
like
good.
Got such an influential like hold on the animation industry, first of its kind. Like it didn't have to be the first CG animated movie and be good, but it did.
Right.
It was that good. And I mean, if you watch it today, I mean, those jokes still hold up. The writing's just really solid. The plot line and drama between Buzz and Woody is just so fucking good. I love Toy Story 1. It's just like a perfect little movie.
Yeah, and the theme song, so good.
Well, all of the Randy Newman songs in that movie.
Yeah. You got a friend in me.
But what's the one when Buzz like tries to fly? Copyright.
What is that song?
I could fly if I wanted to. Copyright. Like a bird in the sky. Copyright. I believe I can fly.
We're dealing with Disney here. They're gonna strike the fuck out of this now.
I know. I'm sorry. I just can't talk about it and not imitate. Hello.
I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
You're not supposed to see this part.
Sorry, Tanny, get down.
We do the podcast naked. Everybody.
Oh God.
It's like
We're back.
Yeah, Toy Story's great. Next one on our list, we got Monsters University.
Haven't seen it.
So you haven't? Okay, so Isaac hasn't watched, so it's up to me now. I was going to originally put it in C, but I think that's too close to the garbage tier, right?
Yeah.
I think that's too close to the garbage tier. I would say I'm going to go ahead and slide it in B, though.
Really? Is it decent.
It's decent, you know, like it's not bad. Okay, it's not bad by any means, but it's not very good. You know,
I think you're gonna be a lot more generous with the tier list than me, Casey. I'm
probably
discovering.
But I don't know, like I still find things that I like about Monsters University.
Yeah,
it's just it doesn't have the same heart, I guess, or like same. The story is it doesn't know what message it wants to send is the main problem with Monsters University, especially with how it ends. I won't spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but if you know how Monsters University ends and you know how confused I am about what it's trying to say, it's pretty much going against every other animated kids movie when they tell this type of message, and super weird. There are some characters in here that I really like. It's good seeing Mike and Sully again, and them being younger and stuff, the college years. It's fun, but it's not really the Monsters Inc. Continuation that I really wanted to see.
No one asked for it, and also it contradicts the first movie. They met in grammar school.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I don't know, man. So it's just weird. So that's why I put it in B tier. Like I could still watch it and get enjoyment out of it, and I still think it has some worth. But it's nowhere near as good as the original, obviously, or most of these films on this list. So
I mean, just having not seen it, I don't really have any interest in it because it doesn't seem like it's an incredible movie.
Yeah, but you can still keep up with the Pixar lore and the Pixar theory without watching Monsters University.
Yeah,
it's fine. So yeah, I guess moving on.
Finding Dory.
Finding Dory.
Do you have any raging opinions about this one?
My raging opinion is that it's C tier. I literally remember nothing about this movie, and I watched it twice, I think. So yeah,
I'd have to agree. I'm gonna put it C tier too. Like it's not a bad sequel. Like I don't know. It's not a very good sequel either, though. I think that Ellen. I mean, even though everyone should rightfully hate her, I mean, is really good at playing this character, and I think that the essence of Dory is pretty great in this movie. And there's a lot of cute animals throughout the aquarium. It doesn't stick with you like Finding Nemo does, and it definitely feels like we don't have ideas for new movies, so we're gonna revisit Finding Nemo. And, I mean, is it the worst that could happen? Absolutely not. But did we need it? No. And I really don't remember all that much about it either.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll ever see it again, to be honest.
Yeah, I might watch it. Me and Don have been rewatching some of the Pixar movies.
Yeah.
And I might rewatch it. And if I like it more on this rewatch, then cool. But I don't think I will, because I just remember being very underwhelmed by this movie. So C tier is where it belongs.
I feel that.
But, with tradition, next movie, Finding Nemo.
That fucking S tier.
S tier. God tier film. I rewatched this recently, too.
Oh, okay.
It holds up, definitely.
Yeah, no, this is a fucking great movie. Like, all of the little lines in there that we take for granted, like escape and a half full, half empty shit. Like, I don't know, it's the right amount. It's like, this is an adventure movie to me,
definitely.
Like, it's got all of these, like, different landmarks that kids will remember forever, like the turtle sequence, or the part with the sharks, or the jellyfish jumping,
Yeah.
Like, there's so much.
I can, in my head, map out where, like, the entire movie, like, which place they go. Like, from start to finish, I can see the movie in my head and, like, go through the beats. Like, it's so amazing. And, like, each scene, there's no scene in this movie that's fucking wasted.
This is, like, one of the best in terms of, like, balancing, like, funny bits with, like, pure, like, raw emotion. And, like, I don't know, man. Like, if you're not beat up over those first few minutes when everything fucking goes wrong, I mean, you're cold. I don't care who you are. That has to hurt, you know?
It's a great film. All the characters are well fleshed out. My favorite character is Willem Dafoe's Fish.
Yeah, he's good.
He's so good. I really, really love this movie. Super quotable. Wouldn't be surprised if it's in like the top 100 quotable movies of all time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. P. Sherman 32 Waluwe Sydney. That's what I always think. That's what my mind goes to. So yeah, Finding Nemo, definitely God tier movie.
God tier. let's just follow that up with another S tier. Cars, baby.
Cars. It's Cars 2.
Oh, it's Cars 2?
Yeah, it's
well, it can't be the S. Oh, hey, spoiler alert. Cars 1 is not God tier either, man.
No,
that shit sucks.
Spoiler.
But Cars 2
is garbage.
Complete garbage. It's on the bottom. Like, I ranked the movies that I've
Right.
seen, and it's the bottom one.
It's the worst.
I don't care for it at all.
The worst.
I don't know what to say about it that hasn't been said. It was like a terrible decision to
Yeah.
follow Mater. Like, not a very enduring character at all.
Larry
like,
the Cable Guy voices him.
you can stand him for about 2 minutes, and then you need a break. And this movie is like a pure endurance test because it is like an hour and 40 minutes of him.
And they turn it into a spy movie.
Yeah, I mean, they tricked Michael Caine into being in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, they tricked fucking Emily Mortimer, John Turturro. A bunch of great British actors showed up for this movie for some reason, and it's like, damn, that is a shame that this is the movie that you're gonna be prominently featured in, because it's a fucking shithole for sure.
Yeah, it's bad. I don't like it. I don't. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Moving on, though, we're gonna go back up real quick.
Yeah,
all the way up.
Put it back in God tier. We've got The Incredibles in S tier.
The Incredibles. My second favorite Pixar movie. Probably.
I have it there too.
Yeah.
I have it in the number 2 slot,
Yep.
and I mean, this movie is so impactful to me. I remember leaving the theater in 2004 and how I felt, and it was just. It's such an incredible, no pun intended, but it really is just such an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And a wonderful, ode to superhero stories, but
with a twist.
Yeah.
Such a good twist.
I mean, you haven't read Watchmen yet, but
no,
borrows a lot of plot elements from Watchmen, believe it or not, which is insane.
Yeah.
But it's got that, that self-awareness and that smart, quippy satire of the genre that adults love, but it's got all the superheroes shit that the kids need,
Exactly. It's amazing. The theme of family is so well done. The villain is so fucking good. I know that whole plot line with how the villain becomes the villain, is reused a lot, especially in Iron Man 3. Everybody talks about Iron Man 3 is literally just the plot of The Incredibles. But it's effective, and the best decision they ever made was Sam L. Jackson as Frozone.
Yeah.
Just somebody was talking the other day about on Twitter. They were talking about a Frozone TV show, and I'm like, you don't understand. I'd binge watch the fuck out of this. That sounds amazing. But yeah, The Incredibles, incredible.
Yeah, and I mean, Brad Bird, let me just say, his Pixar movies are usually the best ones. His animated movies in general are stellar. I think there's only one I'm thinking of that will be featured later on this list that I'm not up to the usual standard for you, but fuck, he's such a brilliant visual director for sure, and smart. I mean, I love his fucking movies. And speaking of which, we've got the second one he ever did at Pixar, Ratatouille right here, and I don't know about you, but that's going straight to God tier for me.
That's the same. That's I think that's Donna's second favorite movie. We watch that religiously, bro. I've seen that movie so many times. That is a God tier movie.
Copyright. But I mean, I love Ratatouille, not only for the themes of criticism that are going on throughout, but just it's such a fun story, and it's just got so many distinct moments that people will never forget. I've ever since I saw it in theaters in 2007, I've never forgotten that scene where they're eating the strawberry and the cheese and the colors are popping.
Yes, it's such a good representation for how you feel when you eat good fucking food. God, is there I mean, you have to wonder when Ratatouille came out, the audience and critics are is there anything this fucking company can't do and get 100% right? Holy shit, all these films are amazing.
I think at that point Pixar had really only had one movie that you could consider hit or miss.
And it was Cars.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, 2. My bad.
Oh yeah.
Cars and Bugs Life. I feel like are the ones that critics were like, nah,
yeah.
never mind.
There's some weird history of the Bugs Life, but yeah, yeah, man, Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is so fucking good.
So
I mean, if you have anything bad to say about Ratatouille, that's just slander. You're going to fucking court.
Literally,
over
you're in
that shit.
hell. Like, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to hell.
Right.
If you don't like Ratatouille.
Speaking of Ratatouille and distinct like smells in the kitchen, it smells like someone cooked up some fucking shit right now. Good.
So, I haven't watched The Good Dinosaur. It's the only Pixar film I haven't seen. So you would put it in garbage tier, I'm assuming.
I put it in garbage tier because it was in production hell for a while, and it shows. Like, it's just not that great of a movie. Like, it's very confused. Shitty Land Before Time is the description that comes to my mind. Like, Land Before Time is a beautiful animated movie about dinosaurs, and this one doesn't accomplish like half the shit that movie does. And when it's at its best, it's because it's ripping off movies that have come before it and trying to steal those emotional beats. And I don't know what to say other than I don't care for it. I don't really remember all that much about it other than just not being a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, you're saying everything I've already heard. Like, everybody says that about it. It's just not good. Like, really, it's not memorable at all. Like, everybody was just very, not good. Speaking of shit, I guess we got the first Cars here. However, I will say I'll probably put Cars in. I'm kind of torn if it should go in B or C tier. Where did you put? Where is it on your list?
I think it's probably closer to C tier than garbage. Definitely not going anywhere near B tier. None of the Cars get close. Yeah, I feel like it should go in C because it is a lot better than Cars 2.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say I'd put it before Finding Dory though, because at least I remember Cars way more than I do Finding Dory.
I would say Finding Dory is just fine sitting above Cars. Really? I like that spot for it.
Gotcha.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Cars is just not. I was not interested in it. Like, even when I was younger, like, watching it, there's just nothing to like about it, really. Like,
no.
It's a middling story. The landscape that they're in is like really gorgeous. Like, with I always love like the western kind of lands with the red desert stuff like that. Like, I like that, but not the characters. I'm not interested in the storyline. I'm not like a race car kind of guy, so that may be especially why I don't.
Not
like
a car
this.
guy,
Me neither. Like, I don't find it funny. I don't find it interesting, and I hope I don't have to watch it ever again. If I have kids, I'll just have them watch every other Pixar movie and just be like, Cars doesn't exist.
The Rascal Flatts version of Life is a Highway, though, is actually going to bump this movie up to God tier, though.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we gotta put it back into God tier, yeah.
Yep.
Life is a Highway. Copyright.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving the fuck on.
I haven't watched this one, and I don't think I ever will.
Cars 3.
Cars 3. I don't know that there's anything that the Cars franchise left unexplored after Cars 2. I'm curious to see what the deal is with like the very serious like car accident that seems to be in the trailer. Like, they really let in with that on the marketing.
Yeah, man, I was contemplating putting it in C because it is a lot. It calmed down since Cars 2, and it got back to like a real play. They were like, all right, let's talk some real shit. Let's actually get a story going. But just because I don't remember most of it, and I don't remember exactly, it's got to go in garbage tier for me, honestly. Like, I just don't, like, it was definitely better than Cars 2. But I wouldn't say it's as good as Cars 1, if that can even be like a statement. Like, Cars is still bad. Like,
Cars is the standard of quality.
Yeah, like, so I guess Cars, yeah.
It's no Cars 1.
It's no Cars 1.
That's for sure.
Yeah, but, alright, so I'm going to assume this next one's going to be divisive between you and me.
Yeah, what, I want to, well, here, no, let me say my stuff first, because then, we like a good pick-me-up after a good put-me-down. I'm going to put Bugs Life in C tier.
Ooh,
like,
that hurts.
I mean, it was a movie that I definitely watched a lot as a kid, so I was hoping that blind nostalgia would save it for me, but it doesn't. it's just not that interesting to me. The characters are a bit obnoxious to me these days. And I don't know. It's just like a pretty standard run-of-the-mill story, which is so crazy to see because, I mean, like, Pixar came out the gate with, like, a story you wouldn't have thought to, like, see, and, like, it was really clever, and I just don't think Bug's Life has any of that, so I'm putting it in C tier, for sure.
That all makes sense.
Yeah.
But respectively, I disagree, and it's going in A tier for me.
Okay. Hey, I respect you too, man.
Yeah, A Bug's Life is one that I rewatched a lot when I was younger, and I recently rewatched it just like a couple months ago, and to me it still holds up. And also learning about the production of it also just kind of like added some stuff for me where I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, and I still like it. I just think it's just a cute story, honestly. My fear of grasshoppers came from this fucking movie. I think that's the Hopper is one of the most terrifying kids villains I've ever seen because he's just mean and he threatens to eat all of them. Like, it's really scary. The animation arguably isn't as good as Toy Story's, even though it's after Toy Story, but that's because they were taking on having to animate hundreds to dozens of characters within a frame at once, and so it was really hard for them. Also, this movie got a lot of flack because Ants was released before.
Yeah.
But that was because Katzenberg basically knew that they were doing A Bug's Life, so he was like, okay, over here.
Let's get this out quick.
Yeah, so they rushed Ants, and it turns out now that there's like an actual fight, like, which you like more, Ants or A Bug's Life? And for me, it's always been like A Bug's Life, no question. Even though Ants has validity, like, I still like Ants. But
I saw Ants, like, not too long ago, like a couple of years ago, and I did find myself actually enjoying that one a little bit more. Which, I mean, they're not, either one of them aren't, like, great movies in my opinion, but, like, Ants, I don't know. I like the neurotic, like, Woody Allen bits of it, which I know, fuck Woody Allen, like, he deserves nothing good in life, but, like, it's a good story. I like it. And, I mean, same with Bug's Life. It's, like, not a bad movie. It's just, neither one of them really do it for me, and it's weird that was the feud. Like,
I don't know, man. I don't know, I just like it. I guess maybe it's blind. Excuse me. I guess maybe it's blind nostalgia, but then again, I rewatched it very recently, and it still holds up for me. So maybe I am in the minority here. You may be in the majority that people don't like A Bug's Life. I don't know, but
I don't know.
I don't know. I just really like it. And also, A tier was getting pretty lonely, so I think A Bug's Life is the perfect movie to put in A tier for me, at least. So
Up's the only one in my A tier right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh well, I have 5 movies.
That's okay. They're a great studio. I mean, let's be real.
Let's see here. Incredibles 2.
This is tough because I thought B tier for a little bit, but I think there's enough that frustrates me that I'd have to probably go C.
Gotcha.
No, B. No, see, this is a divisive point in my list.
I'm gonna put it in B because I still enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
For the most part, but I do have a lot of gripes with it.
B tier for me too.
Okay,
like, this is the only one from Brad Bird that I'm like, what happened here?
Exactly.
Like,
I think it was rushed.
I think, like, which is crazy because it took 14 fucking years to come out.
Yeah.
But, like, what's weird about Incredibles 2 is, like, the family stuff is really good still. Like, I really love, especially, like, Mr. Incredible's, like, staying at home stuff with Jack and Dash and Violet. Like, that stuff is really good in my opinion.
I agree.
It's funny. Mm-hmm. It kind of hits home at, like, some real feelings that people have, and it's just fun to watch. You know, like, I think the weird thing is, like, maybe the best scene in this movie is, like, Jack fighting a raccoon. You know, like, that's better than, like, the actual, like, climax of the movie.
It was really funny.
What can you accent, like, what you don't like about it?
So I think that it gets away too much from what the first one established and what it kind of stood for, I guess. The first one was a very contained superhero movie. Like, granted, there was a big battle at the end in, like, a city, but, like, Incredibles 2, it's just like, fucking pedal to the metal all the way. Mm-hmm. Like, from the very beginning. And it's just, it feels like too much is happening, and like I can't really sit and meditate on a scene before we cut to like fucking a dozen superheroes doing a bunch of different shit. And also, it doesn't help that the villain is so much worse than the first movie. Like, the first movie's villain is incredible, and this one is just not good. Like, they even have a red herring, and it's so stupid.
You don't buy it for a second, you know, like.
And there's one scene in this movie that I really remember being like, God, like I wish we got more of that in this movie, because it reminds me of like the tone of the first movie, and it's when she's like swinging through the city and they're talking to her on the earpiece.
Yeah.
And she's going to find, like, that was such a dark and like moody moment. I'm like, shit, this is what this movie should have been the entire time, because whether or not. Like, The Incredibles, the first Incredibles is a dark movie in some parts, you know? It's got some mystery in it, and it's really interesting to watch. And I find that Incredibles 2 is just not interesting to watch, and it feels like it's catered more towards the kids in this one.
Yeah.
Like, Incredibles, more adults could enjoy it and find...
It's like, get these toys, you know? Like, here's a bunch of shit that, you know, is very easily, like, marketable to, like, children, you know? Yeah, it's a bummer, because this was definitely probably the only Pixar sequel that I ever wanted, you know, as a kid. And when it finally came out, it was like, oh, you know, this would be a lot better if I was still a kid, you know? I don't know.
It's disappointing is the best word to describe it, I think.
It represents what's wrong with most Pixar sequels, or most modern era, you know, reliance on twist villains that are weak and just like... I don't know, man. Like, I think that does it for a lot of Pixar movies for me, you know, is just, like, reliance on, like, surprise villains. I mean, I think Incredibles 1 is just about the only one that did it really well. Yeah. You know? And then it's clunky most other places. It
is a clunky movie. That's a good word to describe it.
Yeah, it's clunky. It's good, but it's clunky. Yeah. Visually stunning, like, probably the best visually that Pixar's ever gotten, because I mean you could see the fucking like fibers on their like clothing, you know, like that's incredible. But I think it's fine in B tier.
Yeah, B-tier. I agree. We may have a differing opinion on this next one.
Okay.
WALL-E. Straight to God tier for me.
Oh, I love WALL-E.
Yes.
Okay, but
you might be in the A tier?
I feel like I want to clarify something.
Okay.
Part 1 of WALL-E, all the Earth stuff, God tier.
Gotcha.
Part 2 of WALL-E, still good, A tier. You know, like they feel like completely different movies.
Yeah. I think they might have accidentally spent too much time on Earth. You know, I think maybe the animators and the story writers were just having fun, because that like first 20, 30 minutes or whatever it is that we're on Earth, like amazing. Like it's so fun. And then when we get to the spaceship part, I still find it highly enjoyable. I'm like, this is great.
No, great stuff.
It feels way different. I think why I put it in God tier, I think combined though, at the end of the day, they still make a pretty fucking awesome movie. But it is a little jarring, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Well, you know, I think my tendency would probably put it in like God tier over A tier. Like, I think I still love it, you know, disjointed parts and all, and like, you know, whether the silent parts of the movie are better than the dialogue-driven portions, like, it doesn't matter. Like, fuck yeah, that's a great movie. Yeah. I love WALL-E, and shit, you can tell, like, that was one of the movies that they came up with when they were pitching all their ideas, like, in the 90s. Like, that was the big marketing strategy around that one, is like, oh, this was the last movie we brought up that day, was WALL-E, the robot. And it's like, I can tell, you know, he's
such a cute
comes
little
from a
shit,
love
too.
Yes, he is. I love WALL-E. And I mean, I call lots of robots that I find endearing WALL-E. Yeah. Just to give them their namesake, you know.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have a WALL-E pop Funko thing.
Yeah.
I'm not even ashamed of it. Like,
fuck it. WALL-E's great, man.
WALL-E's great. It's cute. WALL-E's God tier. And this next one might not be God tier for you. I can't remember, but I mean I've said this on the podcast 1,000 times, baby. It's Monsters Inc., baby. It's going right up to S tier, and it's at the very front. This is the best Pixar movie ever made, in my opinion. It's absolutely the best one.
Okay, this might surprise you. It's number 6 on my list.
Okay.
It's right in front of WALL-E for me, but
Gotcha.
it's God tier for sure.
Yeah.
I love this movie. This is the first movie that I ever saw in theaters that I remember.
Mine was actually Finding Nemo that I remember.
Yeah. That came up on the Jacob and Natalie episode.
Yeah,
I think you and Jacob remembered Finding Nemo, and Natalie and I remembered Monsters Inc. But Monsters Inc. is a fucking banger, man. You know, you're in for something good when that intro starts. Copyright.
It's good. It's amazing.
Scary feet.
Scary feet.
Bunk bed. It's good. So many fucking great moments.
Yeah.
Also super emotional. I think if there was, and I mean, just bear with me.
Okay.
It's not slander. If there were any weaker portion of the movie that I think holds it back from being like my favorite, like of my favorite Pixar movies, like top 3, I think it's just like I don't love like the water noose like subplot, you know, like
Gotcha.
I don't love like the story going on there. I think that it's way more interesting when it's focused on like Sully, Boo, and Mike, and Randall even. I think is a cooler villain. Like I just like the water noose goings on are kind of weird, you know, and it's like not bad. It's
very
just
corporate.
It's just very corporate and just feels out of place sometimes, but it drives the drama. It gets the job done, and it's still all amazing. You know, probably one of the best animated movies of all time for that very reason.
I think they could have done a little bit more with Water Noose, or maybe a little less, and it would have panned out either way, I think. So yeah, I kind of get what you're saying though. Like he's a weird character. I like his character. I like the character design because when he's fucking running after him and he like fucking runs up on the side of the wall. And, like his character design's really cool.
He's spooky.
He is very, very creepy. But
he's way scarier than Randall. I mean, fuck, he should have been going in Boo's closet.
Right.
Not the other way around.
There's no monster in here. Well, now there is, but that's my favorite fucking part. Monsters Inc. God tier. If we see any slander on the TL,
just fuck off with that slander.
Fuck off with that shit. Just kidding. Okay, this one might be divisive between me and you because I've heard your opinions on this film before, I think, and I don't think ours match up. Inside Out.
I don't know if we've ever talked about it.
Oh, we haven't? Okay, well, Inside Out for me is A tier.
I do like Inside Out a lot. I think I would put it more in like... No, fuck it. Yeah, A tier. That's an A tier movie. I'm actually assessing my ranking right now,
Gotcha.
and I'm putting it in front of another movie that I like quite a bit, but I think that Inside Out is better. Inside Out, I'll never forget. It felt like a return to form for Pixar. They had been kind of putting out stinkers, not stinkers, but just like not that great of like movies.
You know? Yeah,
and
we'll get to a couple of them.
It was a breath of fresh air. It's got a fucking very like creative and fun concept and just like I don't know, now that I'm thinking about it more and more, like Inside Out just bangs, man. That was a good return to form. It's probably the closest to like classic Pixar that the studio has felt in years, and I mean it got me at several different points in the movie. Like the cool like emotions storyline is fun, and Riley's storyline is good. Like
it's all good.
It's great. Yeah.
I love Inside Out. I remember seeing it in the theater and thinking, wow, like this is the first time in a long time that I've watched a Pixar movie that I've just has resonated with me so well. Like I fucking love Inside Out. I think it's A tier. I mean, rewatching it, there's only a couple things that drag it down. Like really what it is for me is that at some points it feels a little bit too just Disney bullshit sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, some of the things the characters do, and obviously, you know, they have to market everything. I don't know. It feels like it's leaning so much towards trying to get the kids in, but its themes and at the core of the movie is so adult, right? Like I feel like adults will understand this way more than kids will, and it will resonate with adults more. But at the same time, they're like, we're a kids movie, we're gonna do kids things, and that kind of just bothers me a little bit. But like other than that, I mean, Inside Out, it's just definitely a return to form. Definitely makes me cry every single time I watch it. Because like the imaginary friend thing with his name, the imaginary friend, the B, it starts with a B.
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong. It's like, yeah, like I just remember like having an imaginary friend and just like that whole storyline. It's really, really endearing. So yeah, I love Inside Out. It's definitely a great pick.
one. Yeah.
God, we're just continuing with the bangers here.
Yeah, Coco's going straight to A tier for me.
Yeah. For you, it's A tier. I think, I'd put it in A tier. Yeah, it's good.
I think I love like the culture in Coco.
Yeah.
I love the like emotional story beats in Coco. Like I think that it has a very fun concept. I think the only shit holding Coco back is, I just cannot stress this enough, is at some point in time Disney Pixar thought that putting everything on a twist villain was like the way to go, and it's just so predictable and uninspired in this movie, and it takes up way more of the runtime than I would have liked, and I think that's the main thing that keeps it from being God tier to me, is like it's probably one of the ones that made me cry the most, but like you know, it just it's frustrating. You know, like its flaws are frustrating because it's so fucking good most of the time, you know?
Yeah, I get that. Although I will say, Coco's twist villain is the only twist villain I never saw coming. In all these movies I've ever watched, I didn't see that twist villain coming. Like, I kind of assumed, like, oh yeah, I don't think he's going to be, like, a super good guy. But, like, when it was revealed that he actually, like, poisoned, you know, the dude, I was like, oh, shit. Oh, he's the real villain. Like, he's a villain. I was like, oh. But, like, thinking back on it, I'm like, why did they have to do that? There could have been 100 more interesting things that could have done with, like, a villain. And so, yeah, I get what you're saying. Although I will say I did not see it coming. That's what I'll give Coco, is I didn't see it coming. Mainly because I'm so enamored with the animation in this movie. If you notice how they animated everything, there's skulls. Like, even the city is just a bunch of skulls.
The
like
bones
the houses
are, like, so detailed.
Yes, dude. I think this is the Pixar movie where I really noticed, like, good God, the attention to detail, like, is amazing in this film.
I would have this is the thing, I feel like they were too afraid to let the emotional drama sit, and they needed, like, a villain, like, false stakes that they added to the storyline, and you don't always have to cram a bunch of shit in there like that. Like, the movie's at its best when it's focused on the family, like, trying to reconnect and find each other, and I think you can do that without some, like, over-the-top twist villain who, like, murders people, you know? Like, what? It just doesn't fit in, you know?
Right. I agree. Also, there was a bit of a controversy with this film with Mama Coco, I think. I don't know if this was real or if it was just people doing this for shits and giggles, but there was an old woman in Mexico that inspired Grandma Coco.
Yeah.
And they never paid her or her family for using her likeness.
Are you fucking shitting me?
Yeah.
That's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, that was a thing I heard. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I did see that going around, yeah. So if that's true, that's really shitty, but...
Yeah.
They should have paid her because, like, that character's animation, like, looks so real. Like, you can tell just, like, there's 1,000 stories in that face, you know? So, yeah. Next one, Toy Story 2.
I did a lot of thinking on this. This is my favorite Pixar movie.
This is your favorite?
Yes. I think Toy Story 2 is, like, one of the best sequels of all time. And also just perfect. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I have to disagree. I'm kidding.
I was like, oh my God. He put it in the garbage tier for a second, and I was like, I'm going to kick your fucking shit in, brother.
It's A tier for me. I think it's great. I can't put it in S tier because there's something about it that just doesn't sit right with me, and I've never been able to put my finger on it. I think everything about it is great. I think the villain's great. I think the characters. I think it follows up the first one very nicely. The themes, everything's great. I just think it's A tier. Like, I just can't.
You mean you hear the line, I have to drive all the way to work on a Saturday. All the way to work. And then he goes right across the street, and that's not pure cinema bliss for you.
I don't know.
Al's Toy Barn.
I think I know what it is. I think it's the Zurg plot line. I think it's so...
Oh, that's fun.
I think it's fun, but it's... Oh, like... It's just... It's so stupid to me. You know?
Oh.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I just think it's stupid. I think they could have left it out and the film would have been all the better for it. I think the evil... Or not the evil Buzz, but the other Buzz... like thing is like really cool. I'm like, oh wow, he thinks he's in Star Command and he's gonna do all these stupid shit to set back the characters. But then they introduce Zurg, and it's just like, ugh, I don't know, I can't. It drives me crazy. But everything about else about the film I love. So I'm sorry, man. I just have to say that it drives me crazy.
I'm shaking my head.
He's shaking his
shaking
head.
my head.
Tell me why it's your favorite Pixar movie though.
It's my favorite because it has got just like everything you want to see in one of these original Pixar movies. It's got fucking hilarious jokes. They've got I'll always remember this as the movie that introduced the concept of like end credits, like outtake gags to me, it's still probably my favorite instance of films doing that.
They did that. Pixar did that a lot in the early films.
And it's really, fucking awesome. I love it. And I miss it, honestly. Just like the characters are all so good. The new additions really bring something. Like Jesse especially is great. And I mean, if you can watch that when somebody loved me sequence and not feel some type of way, I mean, you're just built.
Sobbed. I definitely sobbed. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, is it's got that balancing act that I'm talking about of like emotions and being funny, and just it's a really well thought out sequel, and it's a miracle that it's even here because it got deleted.
Oh my god, yes, that story is so funny.
And I mean, it not only did it get deleted, but like, the original crew working on it, like John Lasseter was not happy with the direction it was going, and I mean, basically redid the movie in a much shorter period of time than anyone should probably be doing that shit. And it's incredible how good it is. It's incredible that it's incredible. Yeah. And I don't know, I love it, and I probably have watched it the most out of the Pixar movies. Like, I watched it a lot as a kid. My brother still watches it a lot today. I revisit it every now and then, and it's still great. I fucking love that movie.
Nice. I agree mostly. It's just there's some things about it that hold it back from that S tier for me.
Okay.
But it's still a great Pixar movie for sure. Keeping with tradition, let's go Toy Story 3.
I'd say A tier.
I'd say A tier as well. I think definitely Toy Story 2 is better.
Yeah.
And if we're ranking them within tier, it's definitely Toy Story 2, then Toy Story 3. I think the whole college element, like growing up, like we're growing up with these movies as like we're watching them, basically, at least that's what they meant. And I think this is the perfect conclusion to like this trilogy. Like it's
absolutely,
it's so good. Like Lotso, a great villain. Lots
pretty good.
I like him. I really like his that arc.
I mean,
there.
he's no inspector.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm just saying, Kelsey Grammer from Toy Story 2 gave a lot more in his performance than Lotso.
Yeah.
He did it all on his own. He didn't need no fucking goon. He had that pickaxe.
He had a bunch of goons. Yeah, I think Toy Story 3 is definitely A tier, though. It's definitely not God tier. It's definitely great.
This is what I'll say about Toy Story 3. Is like, the emotional stuff fucking hits, and that seems to be the case with a lot of later era Pixar movies, is when they're trying to tug at your heartstrings, they're pretty good at it. Yeah. I think the whole riff on The Great Escape, I mean, it's fun. Yeah. It's kind of baffling that that's what we're going for at our trilogy capper, is like a parody of another movie. I think that the villain aspect of it is just kind of distracting from the stuff that I want to see, and this is exactly what I'm talking about with Pixar. Is like, in Disney animated movies in general, is like they can't let something just sit and be like emotional stakes, and there's plenty of emotional stakes about growing up and moving away and abandonment, and they're in the movie. You can leave them be, you know, you don't have to have all this like crazy other shit. But I mean, it does lead to some incredible moments, like them going into the furnace and holding hands that are bound to make people cry forever and ever. Somebody fucking edited that when they're going in the furnace and then just faded out credits, showed it to their mom, and they were like, "What the hell?" It was really funny. That's incredible. Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Definitely right where it belongs. Great ending. But, great trilogy capper. It's just it has its issues.
I don't know how you feel about this next one. Brave.
I'm bored talking about it already.
Oh my
Garbage.
God,
Let's move on.
Let's go. Thank you. There's nothing good about this movie. I hate watching it.
Brave, by the way.
Brave.
I don't know if we...
Brave, yeah. It's bad. It's like Pixar's attempt at doing a Disney princess, and it's bad. It's so annoying. Everything about it annoys the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Like, this is the one Pixar movie, besides Cars 2, that I vehemently hate. Like, I watched it 3 times, and I still can't find anything to like about it.
I've given it the one watch, like, in 2012, and I've never looked back,
No,
you know?
don't. You won't find anything else. Like, don't, like, if people out there, if you want to keep looking this movie, trying to find something, just stop right now. The well is dry. This movie is hot garbage. Pixar is just, I don't know.
No. Brave's not that good.
It's not. I could go on and on about it, but I won't. I just don't like it. But,
no, not good.
Okay, onward. I still struggle with this one.
Yeah. And this might sound harsh, but that's a C tier of garbage for me.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm not a big fan.
Oh, God.
Like, I think it's emotionally manipulative at best, you know?
Right.
Like, it's got that really good
we were talking about
final bit, you know.
Yeah.
There's a sequence in there that's just like really good, and like the resolution to the plot I like a lot. Do I care for the plot when it's going on or the characters? No. Do I think that Chris Pratt should have been replaced by Jack Black and the movie would have been like 100 times better? Yes. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, I'll put it in B tier. I wanted to put it in A tier, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
damn.
Like I really like it. I think it's a wonderful ode to kind of like the medieval Dungeons and Dragons type or fantasy movie. You know, like it's obviously not as dark or on par with Dungeons and Dragons or something like that, but it's a fantasy kids movie that like. I think has a lot of heart. It's I always get teared up about like dads in movies. Like there's like a dad. I don't know something like.
No,
I don't
it's
have
a good
bad
plot.
relationship with my dad. It's just like I just think I find that stuff really wholesome and I like the plot. I like again this is an adventure movie and I like that aspect of it. Obviously it's not as good as Pixar's other adventure offerings, which is why I'm going to put it in the B tier. I think it's a little bit middling in some aspects, but when it does something right, it really does it right for me. So onward, it's B tier.
I've been thinking as we've been talking. I don't think it'd be fair to say it's between C and garbage. I think it's between C and B. Yeah. It's definitely C for me. Like I think it's probably representative of their lower quality of work.
Gotcha.
But I think that, you know, there's some really great emotional core elements to that movie that really boost it up, you know.
Right. I agree. Yeah. Back to Toy Story. Last one. Toy Story 4.
Yeah, what do you put
That's
it at?
What it's going to be.
Yeah, that's a B for me.
Yeah, it's enjoyable, but it didn't need to happen, and I hate that it happened.
I don't hate that it happened. I'm confused by it.
Yeah.
And the product we got is like not bad, and I'm not even mad. You know, it's like oh, this is funny, this is cute, and it's got
fine.
it's got like emotional moments. It's just like you already had such a good like ending moment in 3. You didn't really need to make another. Like what are you doing? You know, like why does this need to be? And that's exactly it. It's like for something that I didn't want, it's pretty okay. But whatever.
All right, Soul. What do you think?
I'm thinking Soul goes in my A tier.
I'm thinking the same.
Yeah.
It's not quite up to God tier, but
it's
got soul.
Yeah, no, this was refreshing, especially coming off of Onward, which I mean, it's not a bad movie.
Right.
Just not my favorite at all.
It's like Pixar has like 2 lanes that they usually stick to, and Soul feels more along the lines of like the Inside Out lane, you know,
like creative idea with emotional core that you really love to see.
Right.
I like it a lot. I don't know, like I haven't seen it since it came out, but I just remember it was like the movie I needed to see at the right time. You know, it made me feel a lot better about some stuff that was going on in my life, and that's the most you can hope for from any movie is that it makes you reflect on your own life and go like, oh, well, you know what? Life is good. This is a Wonderful Life, but Pixar's version, and that's what I like. You
Definitely, I agree. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I enjoyed it. I didn't expect to enjoy it. But I definitely did. The animation's absolutely beautiful in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely set during, like, autumn, and, like, it shows. Like, they get to, it's so good. So right. And then the last one on our list, which I'm not sure if you've seen yet. I think
No, I haven't.
You haven't? So, it's Luca. And I think we've talked about this. I'm going to go ahead and put Luca in A tier.
Really?
Yeah, I was contemplating B tier, but looking at the other movies in B tier, I think Luca is better than all four of those movies. So I'm going to put it in A tier. I really enjoyed Luca.
I wish I had seen it before we did this episode. My bad.
Okay. You still should watch it, though. I highly recommend you watch it, because I want to know what you think, honestly, because I like it. I think it's great. It is. It has some issues. I think it's not as the way it's structured is really weird. It feels a little bit longer than it actually is, but that's not bad because I enjoy being in that world that they've created. But yeah. So it's definitely, it feels like a new type of Pixar almost. Like it's not like their other stuff, which is okay. And
they're going for like Studio Ghibli. They said.
Yeah, and I like it. I think it's cultured. It's gay, and it's awesome. I like it. I think it's A tier. So
okay.
So I guess that does it. That completes our ranking.
Well, we tweeted this right before we started recording, but we do have some responses.
Yay.
We have some listener favorites.
Gotcha.
Jacob, he said that he could go back and forth on it all day, but Up or Wally is his favorite, which I'm going to say
in our God tier.
Banger tweets.
Yeah.
I mean, Up's in my A tier technically, but
Gotcha.
I do love it. So I respect that fully.
Yeah.
And Saxon said he's got to go with Wally, but he'd put The Incredibles at a very close second. So we're seeing a lot of Wally love. Which
I love the Wally love.
Wally good.
Yeah, I agree. Wally's definitely up.
Wally bangs, man.
Wally bangs, bro.
Well, that's our tier list. I hope that our opinions aren't too egregious. And again, feel free.
The only movies we shat on was Cars 1, 2, and 3, Finding Dory, The Good Dinosaur, and Brave, and I feel like that's the... And you kind of
I kind of shat on Onward. I feel like that'll get me some hate. I know Jacob loves that movie especially, so I'm like, oof.
But, I don't know, I feel like our opinions aren't too hot on this one, I don't think.
No, I think this is relatively safe. I mean, we put like 1 million movies into our God tier, you know?
Yeah, true. There's literally...
In A tier.
There's 7 movies in God tier and 7 in A tier, so there's 14 really good Pixar movies that people should watch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has certainly been an event, and speaking of which, I got plane tickets for us.
Really?
Yeah,
Where to?
There's this beautiful like coast that I saw on Google. Some of the reviews have been kind of weird, like apparently there's some kind of like side effect of going to this like beach.
It's a beach. How bad could it be?
It makes your ding dong even bigger and girthier and lengthier than it used to be.
Count me in, buddy. Let's go.
Let's go to the Big Dong Beach. Am I right? The beach that makes your dong big.
Yeah, let's go. It's called Dong.
Dong by M. Night Shyamalan. Dong.
All right, bye.
Bye. We're going.
Oh, shoot.
It's working already.